Have you ever paused for a moment and truly considered the silent work your body performs every single day? It is a marvel, a symphony of precision, orchestrating life without fanfare, without applause, yet holding the very essence of who we are. Among these quiet yet crucial performers are our kidneys, unassuming yet indispensable, filtering, balancing, and regulating with steadfast commitment. As the years pass, our bodies inevitably change, and with that, so does the rhythm of these vital organs. Many believe that any alteration in kidney function is a sign of disease, an alarming signal that should stir immediate fear. Yet, life is seldom so binary. The truth is far more nuanced, and the wisdom to navigate it requires not panic but insight. Dr. Matthew R. Weir illuminates this delicate distinction, showing us that aging itself, while inevitable, is not always an adversary but a teacher, revealing patterns and rhythms that demand our attention and respect. It is in this subtlety that we find empowerment, recognizing the difference between what is naturally changing and what is truly threatening. To live fully, we must understand not only the strength of our organs, but the resilience of our entire being, and this understanding begins with observation, mindfulness, and knowledge. We must learn to listen deeply to our bodies, to notice the whispers beneath the noise, and to discern between normal signs of age and signals that merit action. When we cultivate this awareness, fear transforms into clarity, anxiety into preparation, and confusion into informed choice. This is not merely about physical health. It is a reflection of a philosophy, a way of engaging with life that values knowledge over speculation, evidence over assumption, and understanding over reaction. In the grand theatre of life, our kidneys perform tirelessly, and our role is not only to care for them, but to comprehend them, to honor the work they perform without us even realizing. Dr. Matthew R. Weir often emphasizes that true wisdom arises when we observe without judgment, when we interpret signals without distortion, and when we act not from fear, but from informed discernment. In this spirit, aging should not be seen as a relentless decline, but as a continuum, a landscape in which we learn, adjust, and respond with intelligence. Every day presents an opportunity to understand the subtle messages our body conveys through changes in energy, balance, and function. Many dismiss these nuances as inconsequential, yet they hold the key to preventative care, early detection, and a life lived with intention. When one appreciates the rhythm of their health, they become an active participant rather than a passive observer, engaging with life's intricacies with curiosity rather than dread. It is here, in this quiet awareness, that motivation is born. The same motivation that inspires us to nurture, to improve, and to embrace a holistic approach to wellness. Our journey through aging does not have to be marked by fear of inevitable decline. Instead, it can be guided by knowledge, supported by insight, and enriched by the principles Dr. Matthew R. Weir imparts, teaching us that health is a lifelong dialogue between body, mind, and spirit. When we understand that change is natural and distinguishable from disease, we reclaim agency, turning uncertainty into clarity and helplessness into proactive care. Each choice we make, from diet to activity to mindfulness, reverberates through our organs, shaping outcomes in ways both visible and invisible. By observing, learning, and adapting, we cultivate a life that is not only longer but richer, informed not by fear but by understanding, inspired not by alarm but by deliberate wisdom. In this quiet contemplation, we discover the power to transform our relationship with aging, to meet each stage of life with insight, courage, and a sense of responsibility for our own well-being. There comes a moment in every life when the ordinary seems to shift, when what we once took for granted reveals its hidden fragility, and the quiet certainty of health is suddenly questioned. The kidneys, silent and steadfast, often carry the weight of this revelation. Many people only become aware of their importance when symptoms appear: subtle fatigue, unexpected swelling, or changes in routine energy, signals that whisper warnings we may be too busy to heed. It is in these moments that suspense unfolds, not as a story contrived for drama, but as the reality of human fragility interwoven with resilience. Dr. Matthew R. Weir teaches that it is precisely in these delicate thresholds that understanding matters most, where knowledge can transform anxiety into clarity and fear into purposeful action. Aging is inevitable, but what is not inevitable is unnecessary suffering caused by misunderstanding, misinterpretation, or delayed attention. When the mind grasps the difference between natural changes and genuine pathology, the heart is freed from the paralysis of dread, and the spirit gains the courage to respond thoughtfully. Consider for a moment the quiet complexity within your own body. Billions of cells communicating, filtering, repairing, and sustaining life without ever drawing attention to themselves. And yet, in this very perfection lies vulnerability. The suspense arises from the realization that even what seems ordinary can harbor hidden challenges, that the silent signals of decline may be masked by subtlety, and that life demands our vigilance without overwhelming us with fear. Dr. Matthew R. Weir emphasizes that the distinction between normal aging and disease is not always obvious at first glance. It requires patience, observation, and discernment, teaching us that wisdom is cultivated in the practice of mindful attention rather than in the reaction to sudden alarm. Each day, countless decisions subtly shape our health trajectory: what we eat, how we move, the stress we carry, and even the thoughts we entertain. These choices, though seemingly mundane, accumulate over time, revealing outcomes that may surprise us with their impact. Suspense, then, is not only external, it exists within, in the quiet uncertainty of whether our habits, our awareness, and our attention have aligned to preserve vitality or allowed decline to creep unnoticed. It is here that empowerment emerges, in the conscious recognition that while the body changes, we are not helpless. Knowledge becomes our ally, and understanding transforms suspense from a source of dread into a call for deliberate engagement. Dr. Matthew R. Weir's guidance reminds us that being proactive in observing changes, seeking clarity from reliable sources, and learning to distinguish the natural rhythms of aging from pathological signs is the ultimate act of respect for oneself. As we age, we encounter crossroads in our health, moments when choices carry consequences not only for longevity, but for the quality of life. The suspense is heightened because these moments are not always dramatic. Often, they arrive quietly, hidden in minor shifts in energy, subtle alterations in weight, or changes in routine well-being. To ignore them is to invite uncertainty. To confront them with knowledge is to reclaim agency. This tension between vulnerability and empowerment is what gives life depth, what inspires the reflective mind, and what challenges us to act consciously rather than react instinctively. By embracing this philosophy, we learn to see aging not as a decline, but as a canvas, revealing patterns, offering insight, and granting opportunity. It is in observing these patterns that we truly engage with our own health, that we cultivate habits of resilience, and that we recognize the profound wisdom in listening to our bodies. Every kidney, every cell, every moment of filtration is a testament to both the miracle and the responsibility of life. Suspense, then, becomes a teacher, urging us to act, to learn, and to understand deeply the rhythm of our internal world. Dr. Matthew R. Weir inspires us to turn these moments of uncertainty into opportunities for growth, reminding us that true motivation arises when we confront reality with clarity, transform fear into informed action, and engage fully in the stewardship of our health. By facing the unknown with knowledge, by recognizing signals before they escalate, and by discerning normal changes from dangerous ones, we embrace life with intention, courage, and wisdom. This awareness does not eliminate suspense. It reframes it, making it a companion on our journey rather than an adversary, guiding us to live with more presence, more understanding, and more respect for the remarkable organs that sustain us quietly, day after day. As we continue to navigate the journey of life, the awareness of our own fragility can either intimidate or inspire, depending on how we choose to respond. Every challenge, every subtle shift in health, is an invitation to deepen our understanding of ourselves and the remarkable machinery that sustains life. Our kidneys, often overlooked and quietly diligent, serve as a profound reminder that true resilience is built not through force, but through consistency, attention, and respect for the natural order of our bodies. Dr. Matthew R. Weir teaches us that knowledge is not simply information. It is a lens through which we interpret reality, a guide that allows us to distinguish between what is a natural part of aging and what requires deliberate intervention. When we cultivate this awareness, we reclaim the power that often feels lost in the face of uncertainty. We realize that the passage of time is not a sentence, but a process, one that grants insight, encourages adaptation, and fosters wisdom. Life's greatest lessons are rarely dramatic. They arrive subtly, through minor fluctuations in energy, fleeting sensations of discomfort, or the quiet persistence of habits that shape our long-term health. The suspense that once held us captive transforms into curiosity. The fear that once clouded our judgment becomes motivation, and the uncertainty that once paralyzed us evolves into opportunity. Every choice, no matter how small, becomes a deliberate act of care, a testament to the understanding that aging is not merely about decline, but about the potential for growth and informed action. Dr. Matthew R. Weir inspires us to embrace this perspective, reminding us that being attentive to our bodies is not about obsession, but about respect, and that cultivating awareness is the first step toward a life of intentional health and meaningful longevity. By observing subtle changes, seeking clarity, and acting with informed intention, we create a bridge between knowledge and well-being, transforming our daily routines into acts of empowerment. Aging is inevitable, yet suffering is not. Decline is natural, yet fear is optional. The real gift lies in understanding the rhythm of our internal systems and responding not with alarm, but with wisdom, precision, and care. Our kidneys, filtering quietly and consistently, teach us that endurance and balance are cultivated over time, and that attention to detail in our lives, our habits, choices, and mindset reverberates throughout our entire being. Suspense, uncertainty, and vulnerability are not enemies. They are guides that, when interpreted through the lens of knowledge and insight, illuminate the path to health, resilience, and self-mastery. Dr. Matthew R. Weir reminds us that embracing this philosophy is not merely about preventing illness, but about actively participating in the ongoing narrative of our lives, honoring the body as the vessel through which we experience all of existence. Motivation, in its deepest sense, arises not from external accolades or fleeting excitement, but from understanding, reflection, and deliberate engagement with life's realities. When we recognize the difference between natural aging and genuine health concerns, we are freed from the unnecessary weight of fear and equipped to act with clarity, responsibility, and foresight. Each day, we are given the opportunity to make choices that reinforce our vitality, enhance our energy, and align our actions with the wisdom our bodies communicate. By paying attention, adapting, and respecting these messages, we cultivate a life that is not only longer but richer, fuller, and imbued with purpose. Our kidneys, and indeed every system within us, remind us that life is both fragile and resilient, delicate and enduring, fleeting and profoundly significant. This understanding allows us to approach each day with gratitude, courage, and mindful presence, recognizing that true well-being arises when knowledge meets action and awareness meets intention. Dr. Matthew R. Weir's teachings underscore that the power to navigate aging with confidence lies within each of us, through observation, insight, and the consistent practice of care, turning the inevitability of time into a canvas for growth, wisdom, and self-mastery. Let this realization inspire you to observe, understand, and nurture your body with deliberate intention, transforming every challenge into an opportunity for empowerment, and every subtle signal into a guide for action. Aging, change, and uncertainty are not adversaries. They are companions on the journey of life, shaping resilience, inspiring reflection, and cultivating strength. As you embrace this path, remember that each choice, each act of awareness, and each moment of mindful care contributes to a life of purpose, health, and profound fulfillment. If you are benefiting from our topics, please subscribe, like, and turn on the bell notification so you can see our new videos early.